had this mindset that if I come to you, I'm just using you as an example because, I mean, we always together, right? If I come to you and say, hey, bae, I just feel like this is too much right now. I feel like I'm walking outside, crossing the street, and I'm just being sunken into the concrete, and I just can't breathe. You know, I know that was a little dramatic, but sometimes it feels like that.
Yeah.
You know, I want to tell you all these feelings, but I feel bad for coming to you for that because I'm thinking like he got his own problems, he got his own situations that he's trying to figure out, and I don't want to add on top of that.
If I ever took a loss, I learned a lesson. I won't ever think I'm better than the next man. I've been down before the come up, I ain't stressing. Baby, I'm too busy counting all these blessings.
Yep. Count up, word.
Count
up, oh.
Count up,
oh.
blessings.
Count up. Bae.
Blessings.
Bae. We got a show to do.
I'm just counting up all my blessings, though.
I'm all for counting up blessings, but we got to bless the people with our presence right now.
You right. Yo. Welcome back to the You Stuck With Me podcast. It's your boy, Marquis.
And this is your one and only, your favorite, Taylor.
And welcome back. It's been a very, I would say a very difficult.
It's been about 2 weeks.
It's been about 2 weeks, but it's been a very difficult month.
Yeah. Well, I wouldn't say difficult. It's been life-changing.
I agree with that. I think that's more suitable for what we're about to talk about. Yeah,
it's been life-changing.
Yeah. So you guys, in this episode, we're going to talk about just counting all your blessings and being thankful for everything that you have.
Yep, because despite all the craziness and the madness we just went through for this past 2 weeks, we have a lot to be thankful for.
Yeah, because we still have our family, we still have our health.
And most importantly, we're thankful for y'all. Y'all, man, let me tell y'all something. There have been times during this break where I just felt like I need a break from this, right?
Yeah.
I need a break from the podcast stuff. I need a break from being a friend. I need a break from being a sister. I need a break from being a wife. I need to be a break from everything, like just a break from life.
Yeah, you'll have those times. I've had those times, so you're not alone. There were times this past month where I was just like, you know what? I just really need just like life to just slow down. Not stop, but just slow down because it's a lot going on. It's too much going on in the atmosphere right now.
It's a lot. Like, it's like one of those times I used to feel like back in 2017 where I just want to put on headphones and tune out music, tune out life.
Yeah, I definitely feel you on that one because, you know, sometimes life can be too much. But it's always good to let somebody know what you're going through because being by yourself and trying to maintain everything by yourself can have the worst consequences, even if it's not even intended.
Yeah. And then just having that mindset that you have to do this by yourself, that's a lot. That's a lot to carry on one person's shoulders.
Yeah, especially when you're in a leadership position or you're just the main person doing whatever it is you're doing, whether it's work, whether it's a school activity, whether it's a team. It's okay to check out just for a little bit. Not a long time, but just make sure that you're good to get yourself together when you feel like everything around you is just falling apart or it's just too much going on.
And I wouldn't even say like a leadership position, like in personal relationships. Like I said, I found myself being the rock for a lot of people, right? The one that they come to for like comfort or come to for advice and come to for whatever, this, that, and the third. Sometimes I just be like, in my mind, like, I want to help you. I do. But sometimes I can't help you because I'm in the middle of helping myself. And me helping myself and helping you, that does not work.
Yeah, I understand that. And as people, we got to realize that sometimes just because somebody can't help you when you need help doesn't mean that they're being dismissive of you or they don't care. You also got to remember that the person that you're going to for help, sometimes they're going through things themselves. So they need to take a step back and reassess everything and make sure that themselves are good because they can't pour into you if they can't pour into themselves. Just like if you feel like somebody's coming to you for something, you need to take a step back. You can't help pour into somebody else if you're not pouring into yourself.
And yeah, and if you're pouring into somebody and you're on empty, you're gonna later on you keep doing that. You're gonna build a pattern where you feel like you're gonna resent them because you like, well, damn, you keep coming to me with your stuff. You're not even asking me how I'm feeling. Now, half of the time, that person may be inconsiderate like that, but also from looking from a different perspective, how would they know if you always portraying like I'm always available? I'm always available. You could come to me for whenever, but you going through your own shit.
Also, you need to, and some before I say it, sometimes it's hard to do, but you need to make it known to like, hey, look, I can't deal with what you got going on right now because I'm going through my own thing, but just give me some time. Let me get myself together and I'll be able to help you. It's easier said than
It's
done.
definitely easier said than done. Like I've said in previous episodes, that's something that I'm still working on myself. Now, I'm still getting better at it. That was the whole concept where I had this mindset that if I come to you, I'm just using you as an example because I mean, we always together,
Hmm.
right? If I come to you and say, hey, bae, I just feel like this is too much right now. I feel like I'm walking outside, crossing the street, and I'm just being sunken into the concrete, and I just can't breathe. You know, I know that was a little dramatic, but sometimes it feels like that.
Yeah.
I want to tell you all these feelings, but I feel bad for coming to you for that because I'm thinking like he got his own problems, he got his own situations that he's trying to figure out, and I don't want to add on top of that. That's where the whole concept is. I don't want to be a burden because I'm coming to you with my problems and you trying to figure out your problems, and then that's just a whole cluster mess. Use a nice word, a whole cluster mess of the problems that you feel like you got to solve by yourself, and that's not the case.
Well, this is something that, with what you were just saying, made me think about it. How would you know what I'm going through or if I can help you if you don't ask? Because I could be, going through nothing. Nothing's bothering me. I'm good. So if you have a problem, yes, I can come help you. But like the saying goes, closed mouths don't get fed.
Yeah. And again, that's one thing that's one thing I'm working on in therapy has shown me like I create my own situations like that in my head. And I feel like a lot of us do that, but we never say that out loud.
Can we talk about that for a second? What you just said, that how a lot of us create
Situations in our head
that don't end
that
up
don't that
happening.
don't end up happening. Yes, I will admit I'm that person that sometimes when I'm going through something and I want to say something, I stop myself from saying something to somebody because I feel like I always create these situations where like I don't want to burden somebody. Part of that is because I really create that situation in my head.
Yeah, like we need to understand, why do we as people do that? Like I'm guilty of it. I'm pretty sure that all of our listeners are guilty of it at some point or another. We create these imaginary scenarios in our head of something that can go bad. But this brings me to another question. If we're going to create imaginary scenarios in our head of things that can go bad, why don't we ever create anything that can go well?
Because we always as human beings we always remember the bad stuff because that has a lasting impression on us. It's like that saying goes, for every one bad situation it got to be like what 10 good things to counteract that or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just an innate ability that we have. Now, I'm not saying that's an okay thing to have, but it just happens.
But it's weird though, because just like you said, you need 10 good situations to counter out one bad one. You have more than one, and for some strange reason, we remember that one bad thing versus the 10 good things that happened to us, and just
It's weird. I know it's weird.
yeah.
It's weird, but it's like another example would be like, say you have one nice friend, you might have one friend that has a bad attitude. You're gonna remember the bad friend. You're gonna remember not the bad friend. You're gonna remember the friend that has a bad attitude because of what they said and how they act, their presence, as opposed to the good friend, because the good friend is probably quiet, chill and everything like that. You're gonna remember that, but you're gonna vaguely remember that, but you're gonna remember somebody being all extra, being loud and stuff like that, because it's just an impression.
Yeah.
It's more out there.
Yeah, I can see why that happens. I mean, it's the negative things for some reason tend to stick out more in our mind.
Mm-hmm.
But I think sometimes the negative things that stick out in our mind sometimes can end up being a lesson. So that's why we tend to remember more versus the good things. That's why I'm going to give another example. I've had coaches say that you learn more from losing than from winning. You know what to do when you win, so
But do you honestly know what to do when you win, though?
I mean, if you have a game plan and you work it to perfection and you win, you know how to work it to perfection when you win. You won the game. But if you lose a game and you work in that same concept and it doesn't work, what went wrong for that concept not to work? Because you won a game before, but now you lost. What was the breakdown?
Basically, you go back to the drawing board and reformulate and calculate. But we are talking about blessings, so I guess what what we trying to figure out is how do we have the good things tend to stick more and longer in our minds than the negative?
Well, for me personally, I like to sit down and think if I'm having a messed up day or something's bothering me, and I just think about the good things that can also be associated with that said event. So let's take our friend Xavier, who just passed away. The only negative event that I've had thinking about him is the fact that he's passed away. But sitting there thinking about all the good things that we've done gives me more solace, even though that he's not physically here. Just thinking about all the things that we've been through, going shopping, traveling, laughing, eating different restaurants, all that stuff. Of course, everybody hanging out together. So in that scenario, I feel more at ease than what I did if I just sat there and thought about the negative aspect of him not being here by itself.
Mm-hmm. That kind of reminds me of a conversation me and our friend Kiki had. So we were just talking about, well, she mentioned it to all of us now that I think about it. One of the things is like going back to the grieving process. Now, she took it, out of all of us, she took it the hardest because, they had a close relationship.
She introduced him to us.
She introduced him to us. So just, watching the evolve of her grief process, like she used to cry multiple times a day. Now she say, well, it's only once a day, right? I mean, we kind of joke about that a little bit, but, we joke about stuff to keep from crying, right?
Like you tell me, laughter is life's best
yes,
pain
laughter
medicine.
is life's best pain medicine, right? So just, I think with us going down there and to his service and actually interacting with other friends and family that was prominent in his life, that actually helped with that. And then even after the service, we were just laughing and joking about memories we had with him, like he was still there. So I get what you're saying from that. And I think that helps with the grieving process more because now she's saying she's down to like once a day. But I think what helped her out was, just us sharing those memories and everything like that.
Yeah, I came to the consensus that it's never really going to be okay that he's gone, but it will get better.
I wouldn't say, for me, I wouldn't say it will get better, but it will be it would become a little bit of a norm.
Yeah.
You get used to it.
You don't want to.
You don't want to.
But
yeah. And what you saying, that reminds me of what Regina King just said in her Good Morning America interview about grief. Grief is love with no place to go or something like that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
That was
powerful.
That was profound.
That was very profound. Very profound. And she's right.
Mm-hmm.
I can only imagine what it is to lose a child. That was her son.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, he was like in his 20s and everything like that, but that's still her son. So just imagine she had all this love and care for him and everything. And that was her only child too. You know, all this love and all this built up for him. Now he's physically not here. That hurts. Cause now it's misplaced love.
I agree with
And
that.
I get that because that's how I felt when my mom passed and
Mm,
my grandmother.
Likewise with my grandmother, I think about all the lessons and the blessings that we have in our lives right now. We have nothing to really be ungrateful for because we still have life.
Mm-hmm.
And there are people who don't have life. They didn't wake up this morning. We have people who didn't get to wake up in their right minds for some strange reason. There are people, as we look at our city, we have people living in homeless shelters and battling in diseases that we were grateful to be in a country and a society where we have medical advances that have surpassed that.
Mm-hmm.
So for us to not be grateful for the simple things that we have would be a disservice to God who gave it to us. I can't speak on everybody's belief system, but for me personally, that's how I feel.
And I was getting ready to say that is easier said than done because we're not perfect.
Far from it.
We're far from it. So sometimes we do have to, take a step back and remind ourselves, as I say, look in the silver lining and stuff. So my silver lining with Xavier is we knew that he wasn't feeling good because he told us he wasn't feeling good, right? He was sick and everything. But even though it hurts that he's not physically here, I'm in solace to know that I was able to see him in the beginning of the year, New Year's Eve, and got to tell him what I always wanted to tell him about the communication thing, you know. And then also too that he's not hurting anymore. He's not sick anymore,
Yeah.
you know.
And I'm gonna be honest. With everything that happened, it took me. It was kind of like a gut punch because for the last few weeks I've been coughing and I've been sneezing and you know everyone could barely understand what I was saying. And right before we were set to go to Detroit, I made the decision not to go because I wasn't feeling well. I had to make sure that I'm good because I didn't want to sit there and I'm just coughing and sneezing and everything like that. And that's not where I needed to be. I needed to be at home resting, drinking fluids, taking care of myself. Because if I can't take care of myself, one of the things that I was big on and I was telling myself, when we got married, I didn't sign up for marriage to make you a widow.
Mm.
That's one of the biggest things that I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, I didn't want this, the image of you crying over me because I didn't take care of myself because I wanted to be at every event. Nah,
We
I had
ain't
to
got to
slow
worry
down.
about that. I told you. You could try to leave up out of here if you want to.
I'm
I
not.
will lift you back up and slap you. Tell you, get your ass up. You hear me?
Yes, wife.
I'm just saying. The devil is a lie. I don't know why you even tell these people that.
I mean, we're just being honest. Like I had to be honest with myself, and it was a maturity thing because any other time I probably would be like, no, I'm still gonna go. I'm still gonna go. I'm like, and I had to sit there and think about like, wait a minute, okay, I need to sit down. I need to rest because my body is screaming. I'm not feeling good. I'm sneezing. I'm coughing. I needed to drink fluids. My body needs to sit down. So I didn't. While you guys were at the funeral and at the repast and everything, I was literally just eating and resting, eating and resting,
And watching TV.
and watching TV. But other than that, I need to slow down because, and looking back at it also, because of everything that I had been through health wise through the last few years, I got a second chance at life. And this was a moment where I sat there and think like, wait a minute, I've been here before. My body's telling me one thing, I'm sitting down. I'm not going anywhere. I'm not doing anything. I'm sitting my butt down, let my body rest, let my mind rest, drink some fluids, take medication, do what I need to do to make sure that I'm here for the long run. people say that I'm here for a good time, not a long time. I'm here for a long time, not just a good time.
You're here for both because it's a good time when we're together.
I mean, obviously, but you,
I'm just saying.
you get what I mean.
I'm just saying. So quick story time because we just talked about this. What last night?
hmm
I had a appointment. I had a dance appointment, and at first I was gonna be like, at first the timing of it, the original time was wrong. I'm like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in the afternoon, and then after that, I could just go drive or do whatever I want to do. But remember how I said to you, I was like, you know what? This dance appointment ended a little bit earlier than I expected. Originally, I was gonna go drive, make this money, whatever. I was like, you know what? I was like, babe, my body is feeling kind of weird right now. Remember, I told you that? I was like, I'm just gonna come home and rest. And what did I do when I came home?
You came home and rested, and I welcomed you with open arms.
Yeah, it was just my body was like going through all this stuff, like it was feeling sore, and I just felt like this wave of fatigue, and I had been feeling that lately because it's not the first time I told you that, and I'm like, why is my body acting like this?
Because we've been running our bodies ragged over the last few months. It's about time for a little bit that we do slow down. I mean, obviously, we love doing the podcast. The podcast actually is therapeutic for me because we get to talk and we get to speak our minds on certain topics and things that have happened to us in life. But other than that, I've come to the years ago. I've come to the consensus, for at least for myself, I'm not Superman. I can't just keep running and running on fumes and fumes and not sitting down. No, this is how I ended up where I'm at now. So
Yeah, I feel that. But yeah, it was just weird. I was like, I'm just feeling so tired now. Like I went home, I took a shower, changed into some comfy clothes, and then I came and sat in the living room with you. And next thing you know, I'm just like, my body is just like, like coming down off a high. And I was like, what is this? I have it, and I felt like that day I really didn't do much.
and it's always like that. It's always like that.
It's always like that. But anyway, the point of the story was, it's like, I,
Count your blessings when you realize that some
yeah,
things.
so that I counted my blessings. I was thanking God, like I have the emotional intelligence just to listen to my body
Mm-hmm.
before it was too late. Because don't get me wrong, I haven't had any situation as severe as yours, but I've had moments where I wouldn't listen to my body, and my body was like, "Oh, so you're not gonna listen, huh?" Bow,
Yeah,
knock my ass down a couple pegs, but
yeah, and you know what? I think that what's happened with me physically is a blessing to others because they can see what happened if you don't sit down and you don't take the best care of yourself. And since I've been moving around and stuff like that, it's kind of like a refresher course. Like your body's telling you something. The first time you didn't listen, now you listen. So I'm thankful for the lessons. I'm thankful for the blessings of having a second chance. We get to go out and do things. It's taught me a lot. Any There's never such thing, in my opinion, as a bad blessing. Blessings are a blessing for a reason.
yeah. And I always say, I think mistakes are blessings, right? I don't, and you hear me say this a lot. I don't say a mistake. I don't call mistakes mistakes. I call them a life lesson, because in anything that goes wrong, it's a life lesson, because you learn from that and you know not to repeat the same cycle.
I think that's a good thing. I think that's a good way to look at it. I learned to look at a life lesson as a blessing because if it comes around again and you know how to react to it versus the first time,
Yeah,
and also what happens to you can be a blessing to someone else.
yeah. But I will say this. Let's talk about one of our biggest blessings that we're doing right now, this podcast,
hmm
right? So remember in the beginning, I was saying lately, it's been times where I've been feeling like, I just can't, I just need a break from being a wife, being a friend, being a sister, being an auntie, being a godmama, all the above, because I got so many
Hats
titles.
hats that you wear.
Yeah, so many titles, personal titles, right? I was like, I just need a break. I mean, I don't want to cut off nobody. I don't want to do that. I just want to, just exist. Just exist. Like, just let me, that I'm here, that I'll be okay. Just let me be in my bed and watch, them low budget Tubi TV shows, the Lifetime movies, my music videos, because, I'm a music kid. Music is my happy place. I just want to exist. And then also I said too, I was like, I don't know if I want to continue the podcast stuff, because at times I feel like, am I really helping somebody? Is anybody really listening to me? But
when you find out that somebody comes and tells you that you helped them or we've helped them, it makes it all worthwhile.
Not only that, the part I was getting at is, so we took a 2-week hiatus. Like, we basically said, hey, Marquis had oral surgery, this, that, and the third. But here go other guest spots that we did. Just to see I'm trying not to get emotional with it. Just to see those who have been listening to us, like our loyal people, our loyal fans. Well, I don't want to say fans, our loyal cousins. Because, everybody's been like cousins. Just to see, like, they still liking, they still sharing, they still, post their positivity under video that we haven't even recorded. Just like be on other platforms, and like it's brand new, which I mean, and I guess in a sense it is brand new because they ain't never seen it, but just still interact on our platforms. That is a blessing right there, because the podcast field, I've noticed, like, if you, depending on what your niche is, if you go out, if you don't post anything for a while, the fire starts to dim. But I can safely say that hasn't happened to us, right? Mm-hmm. And it just helped me get rid of the thoughts, the ideas that I had. Y'all don't want to keep hearing the same story, because at first I'm like, I don't want to sound like a broken record and talk about our unorthodox love story. Like, yeah, you had a life-threatening, illness, and we was in a life-threatening situation. I didn't want to sound like a Tyler Perry movie, right?
Right.
And and I talked to you about this, and we talked to somebody else about this too. I forgot who, but I was like, I don't want to keep sounding like a broken record, like something bad always happening to me, because I'm not that type of person. Mm-hmm. I'm always trying to be positive. I try to see the light at the end of the tunnel, everything like that. I just don't want to sound like, oh, she always got something going on, because we had somebody in high school that was like that. I'm not gonna name no names or whatever like that. We had a couple people like that. We always say, man, they always got something going on. I don't want to be that person.
But you know what? I'm gonna be honest with you. As we go through life and as we go through things day to day, week to week, etc., life is not gonna always be negative, but it's not gonna always be positive. But because of everything that we've been through and how we like to share what's going on with us, you got to take the good with the bad. Mm-hmm. That's just part of life. You got to take the good with the bad. And I think that it's important that when we share our experiences with our cousins, we let them know that, hey, this is how we felt about it. And if something like that similar happens to you, then we can give you at least some type of tools or some type of ideas on how to navigate it the best way that you can, if you need some answers and you don't have it.
And I appreciate that y'all talk back to us.
Yeah, because
y'all would tell us like, hey, I ain't really agree with what you said, but it sparked some good conversation.
Agreed.
You know what I'm saying? So all in all, we appreciate y'all. Y'all are a blessing.
Yeah.
This podcast is a blessing.
This podcast is a blessing, just like we can be a blessing to our cousins. Our cousins have been a blessing to us.
It's just one big family affair.
Yeah, I definitely think that. I agree with that.
But we appreciate y'all. Keep doing what y'all doing, because it motivates. Well, Marquis ain't never going to stop doing it, because if I stop doing it, he going to find something else to do. But it's not going to stop me. It motivates me to keep going, because, I guess I appreciate y'all want to be nosy in our business and vice versa. I want to be in y'all business too.
Yeah. I mean, because life is definitely worth living. Life is definitely worth laughing, having fun, loving.
And y'all embrace my weirdness because I know I'm a weird individual.
No, not so much.
I'm unique.
I agree with that one.
And sometimes I've been told I'm misunderstood, but the problem is some people just don't understand me.
A word.
Snap, snaps. So, bae, you want to tell the people where they could find us at and submit sticky notes?
You guys can submit your sticky notes to our email at youstuckwithme at ustuckwitme@gmail.com. You can submit sticky notes to our Facebook page, You Stuck With Me. Leave a message. We will definitely respond to you. You can send us sticky notes to our podcast. That is You Stuck With Me. That is USTUCKWITME_podcast on Instagram. You can find me at Instagram and the app formerly known as Twitter. That is mine M1NE_1.
And you can find me on Instagram and that app formerly known as Twitter under Queen Points. That is PO91NTZ. Again, that is Queen Points, PO91NTZ. And also for a little bit behind the scenes stuff before the government shuts us down, you can find us on TikTok under Queen Points 22. Again, that is Queen Points 22. Yep, I said it up before the government shuts us down because they hating on TikTok right now.
And you guys can check out our podcast on YouTube, Spotify, and if you're on Apple Podcasts, make sure you rate, review, subscribe, share, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your pa, to everybody that you know.
Not that you said ma and your pa.
Hey, I was low key in the music mode for a second. Tell your mom, tell your pa, I'm sending you back to Arkansas.
Speaking about music, I got to let y'all know. First of all, thank you for supporting the GTD playlist. Yeah. If you still in need of that good loving, I know February been here and gone, but that's fine. But if you're still in love for some loving, just go ahead and listen to the GTD playlist. That is, it's on Spotify, it is on Apple Music, and will be on YouTube.
And we want to say thank you to you guys for blowing up the YouTube page because you guys have been subscribing, loving our content. Please keep it going. Please keep sharing.
Whip your lemon on us, baby. Whip your lemon on us, baby.
And once again, this is your boy Marquis.
And this is your one and only, your favorite Taylor.
And you guys are stuck with us.
You stuck. You stuck with us.
Peace out, y'all.
Hey, come back.
Peace out.
Later.